All right. Welcome back. PrepperNow, my nightly stream. I have to tell you, it is much easier coming and just doing this for 45 minutes and talking about all this stuff. And there's some things that you should be looking at right now. I know everybody's caught up with what happened on Saturday and everything else. But this I saw and this kind of stuck out to me. You do know I like to go into the financials, and so I thought maybe we'll take a little bit of a departure from what everybody else is talking about. You've got the RNC, you've got all the theories coming out, yada, yada, yada. But, excuse me, it's time to go in a little different direction, okay? So, we're going to go financial tonight, okay? I'm going to talk about other stuff. I'm sure I'll tangent off into other things. If I actually want some students into the classroom, I want to talk about something I saw in a video from Saturday, which is very concerning. So I guess I'll start right there. So, you know, of course, all the things, now everything's coming up, the slope roof. And don't worry, I'm not going to go long-winded on this. I'm just going to open, and then we'll go into what I think is important because it will affect you. Obviously, if things had been accomplished on Saturday night and the RNC were choosing someone else, we'd be in a very different landscape. But whatever reason, I'm not going to put any theories out here. We'll just like I said, we'll play normie and we'll just say it is as it is. The man turned his head at the right time, and he's okay. But it's come out like where this building was. First thing that people were tripping on were how far away it was from where he was speaking. I mean, it literally is something the most mundane of shooters could. You know, it's what people warm up with. You know, it's like going to the basketball court and hitting a couple of set shots, you know, or free throws. But the building the guy climbed up on, first and foremost, was the freaking staging area. You know, he literally had like a team under his nuts in this building. And the excuse, first of all, the lady that's running the Secret Service, she needs to go. Like, she needs to go. She needs to go. But typical arrogance. I forget. I think I said it to. I was talking to a person I talk in the background of Telegram, and I said, I'm just so sick of people in this country getting rewarded for ineptitude. And you mark my words, she will go on to great things. You know, she'll be rewarded and heralded and the pioneer and blah blah blah. And she did an absolutely sucky job. Clearly. I mean, it literally is a miraculous that the man is still alive. So, people are amassed into this guy's, you know, position up on this, and she says it's the slope of the roof. Meanwhile, people are showing pictures of a more sloped White House with people on top of there, and I mean, it's surreal. I mean, you have to think that there was, it's either extreme ineptitude or the crappiest of organization or the worst of the worst that we can't really say out loud here. Okay? That's the problem. So, I don't know what it is. Excuse me. Any one of those should have gotten this lady's job taken away from her. So, the funniest video I've seen today is this, like, guy trained in on the lady that couldn't holster her gun. I'm not sure what her pronouns are, but we'll say her. She couldn't get her gun in, and so she's fumbling with it, and this guy like does like a nature video kind of thing. I sent it over to Telegram. I sent it off to my Subscribe Star and Locals people, but oh my gosh, I mean, he's the DEI hire Secret Service lady is trying to manage her weapon in a heated moment. Obviously, she's never drawn her weapon before. Can't even do the most basic of holstering, so she feigns the idea of trying to put her weapon up. I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious. But the sad thing is that like that shouldn't be funny. That shouldn't be a meme video right now, and it is. And I mean, it's surreal in watching it all. But right before I went on, you know, of course, all these videos are coming out. I mean, it's 2024, folks. Everybody's got a camera, so all these new angles are coming out. Have you seen the video of the Keystone cops from the Keystone State? And you know, I actually know one person that is an officer in Pennsylvania, and you know, good guy. You know, local. You know, they're not. I like cops. Cops. I've got numerous friends that have been cops in the you know, through my life, and so it shows a video of them. Evidently, they're trying to bum rush this, you know, sloped kind of arc living. Good to see you, my brother. I was thinking about you. Every time I go down to my chicken coop, I think of you. I don't know why. I was down there doing some things. Anyway, 2 chicken coops now. Gosh. So they're trying to get through this like chain link fence that's about 6 feet tall, and you know, I mean, it's in the way, and they don't have. It's like 8 of them, and they're all trying to get this guy, like, you know, they're trying to get to the other side, and finally, after like a couple minutes, they take a police cruiser and they ram the thing, and then the people get through, and then they start huffing and puffing over to wherever this guy is on the sloped roof that was supposedly, I guess it's such an angle that he would not have been able to, you know, nip anyone's ear. So I'm still wondering, too, someone said this. There's another channel. I won't call him out because I don't know if I agree with everything he said, but would his ear have been, like, blown to shreds had it been with a 5.56? Can someone who, you know, I'm not versed enough in, first of all, that round, but you know, would it have, like, you know, just blown it to bits, or would it have grazed it and just kept flying through? So Morgan Horn, I mean, anyone, you know, if you think if the thing would have blown his ear off, then tell me. I'm cool. No, his ear would have just have a small hole. See, that's what I thought too, Handsome Jack. Thank you. So I don't know. This guy was adamant that, like, his ear should have been turned to ribbons and everything else, and I don't know. I think when you get real into things and you start going down all these rabbit holes, you get mired in the minutia, is what I like to say. Minutia is small, little, tiny bits and pieces. I think, you know, a lot of times things are as they are. And, you know, like I said, and like the video's out now, I shared this also onto my background. If you're not on Twitter or Gab or Minds or Truth Social with me, please consider joining. I don't post a lot. I post about every 2-3 days, really. And it's usually pictures or things I think are important. I'm getting a little bit more on X because, you know, I think Elon is at least now on the top. I don't know if he's got evil means below him. He's trying to chip all of our brains, but seems to be fighting for speech, so I'm cool with that. So, yeah, I put some stuff out on there. Please consider joining me there. Telegram, too. I'm always on Telegram, but I'm usually going around and looking at all the open source intelligence stuff for Crisis Report. Again, if you are not subscribed to the Crisis Report, please consider that. Thank you so much for gifting the memberships, Arkansas Living. I appreciate you. You know that, bud. Yeah, please consider, it's youtube.com/@Crisis Report. It's a news thing, and I go through, it's 30 to 45 minutes, and I cover everything. I get mad, too. I'll find, like, some little snippet, will like the Nashville, Illinois thing. came out, and I didn't have that. I didn't get that little piece of information that was coming out. And Poplar Report did it. You know, I like Steve, and he did it, and yeah, he got it out there. So they evacuated that town. Also, another video you should watch. Please go watch Angry Prepper's video about him getting a visit. If you have not seen that, that is some freaky deaky stuff. And it's funny because he makes an excellent point, because he's a smart guy and he's thinking on his toes. And he's like, you know, after all this stuff that is going on, why in God's green earth are they coming to me? You know, I'm you know, he called himself like a conservative YouTuber, I think is what he said. You know, I'd say that covers it. We preppers tend to be that way. Not all, but some, you know. And he's like, why are they coming to me? Like, you know, you've got a big problem going on the other side of the aisle, and you guys are knocking on doors of conservatives. And, you know, he said he got it from the J6 stuff, too, because he was there. Yeah, so I was living much closer to D.C. at that point. There was a moment in time where I thought, you know, maybe I'll go down there. But I thought, nah, I don't want to deal with all that crap. And I'm very glad that I didn't. So, all right, well, there's your open. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with everything else. More will be revealed, as my sponsor used to say. So we'll sit back and we'll get it 72 hours after. As I said last night, please be prepping. There's all kinds of crap going on under the surface, you know. So, of course, this is taking all the wind out of the room. So I want to get back in some focus on what's going on right now. This is an interesting one. This caught my eye earlier, and I thought I would go through it. And I got a couple more up there. But gold has hit a new high, okay? So, as you know, I do have some precious metals, and Arc Living, my man, you're going hard tonight, brother. Thank you. I do have some precious metals, and you know, I'm not a financial guy or anything like that, but I bought them many years ago, and they just sit there, but they're there just in case. You know, like, you never know. So when I got them, gold was down way much. I actually have a lot of silver, because I think for many different reasons, silver is the one to have. For me personally, you can do whatever you want to do. But I do have gold, and it's soaring to new heights. And it exploded higher. It's at 3.5%. So I mean, that's a very strong daily move. You know, when you get above 5%. That means that there's major geopolitical chaos going on and everything else. That's like the verge of a financial crisis. But what's really interesting is that it hasn't done this since around 1987. And for those that know their history, 1987 was when the major stock market crash happened. In fact, on a daily, I think it was worse than the Black Friday of the Great Depression. So Bitcoin went up, gold went up, Russell 2000 exploded to 10% higher. So a lot of moves in the financial markets. Now, I think some of this is they're thinking that Trump is going to roll to a major victory. And if you look at the polling, I think I saw a thing where in all the swing states, Orange Man Bad is really doing some cleanup work. He's really raised his, from basically being tied with Joe to being 3 to 5 points, sometimes even more, ahead in all the major polls. So, you know, this has really done something for him, because, I mean, this is the kind of thing that can help your campaign. It shows a strong leader. People want a strong leader. So, and honest, I understand why people are saying this is all, you know, BS and all that. Like, I understand that mentality. I don't agree with it currently, unless something changes my mind, but I understand it. I understand on the other side. I was thinking about this too. You know, when you look at all of the politics of everything going on and you see this major rift going, and you look like we did last night, or I think it was the crisis report today, where the Democrats used to have about an 8 percentage point lead on the Republicans in the 30s, and the Republicans it was usually like 33% vote Democrat, 25% vote Republican, and then you've got like 40 some percent in the independent category, right? That's pretty much where it was to the 2000s, 2010s on up. Well, now if you look, it's 25% Republican, 23% Democrat, and 52% independent. I mean, that is major political rift, and that's because, first of all, people don't like what's going on, so they don't want to affiliate. But the Democrats have lost a lot of clout, and I think it's because a lot of people think they've gone off the handle. And so, if I were them and in their leadership, I would be kind of taking a woodshed moment and being like, what the hell are we doing here that is making it so we are getting our butts kicked? Now, I could tell them 10 different things and rattle the algorithm and have them suppress the crap out of this video, because I could tell you in very, very short form 5 to 10 things right off the bat that that they're doing wrong. I think Gavin Newsom played his hand today as well. Now Elon's leaving California. I mean, just stuff like that. Like this, these are not kitchen table issues. Kitchen table issues are what we are discussing here. Gold going higher. Inflation not under control. Interest rates exploding. I can't pay for my car. I can't pay for my home. All that stuff. That's a kitchen table issue. Dingus chopping is not a kitchen table issue. It's not. So, whatever. Let them sit there and do the crazy things that they do, because, it's my side of the political field is benefiting from the stupidity. And everybody's going to have things. That's another thing. People are coming out. Like, if you looked at J.D. Vance's wife, she went to, I think, Yale or Harvard, and she was on the super liberal lawyer team. And, 8 years ago, J.D. was not liking on Trump when he was in 2016, all that. Everybody's got political skeletons in their closet. But people move on. I mean, I was a friggin' Democrat in 2010. I was, folks, unfortunately. And then I had children and a family, and I woke up very soon with taxes and everything else, and I figured out pretty much that I needed to change my ways, because I didn't like what was happening, to the finances. But anyway, what's going on with people's finances is not good. And it's starting to play out. Gold is a big indicator. That's why people watch it. Dow has been exploding higher, but before the market crash in the Great Depression, before the market crash in '87, before the market crash in 2008 for the global financial crisis, that's what it does. It goes up, it goes, and then the big money goes, okay, I see a top here. We're going to pull our money out very slowly, calmly, and invisibly, and then we're just going to let the little plebes take their licks, right? So that's kind of what I think is going on right now. I think that the establishment people who, tend to be on the big government Democrat side of things, I think they're trying to keep this thing together with as much horse crap, spit, and glue as they can muster. But, it's, hey, mods, you do what you got to do. If there's someone butthead, and get them out. Full trust. Yeah, I mean, we're in a point now, I think, where they're going to try and keep this sucker together, and then as soon as, we know who the horse winner is, that's when you see the fireworks. But I mean, this is kind of disjointed what's going on. They're not supposed to erupt higher like this. I mean, 3.5 is in the normal range, but it's the very top. Like I said, 5% or above, that's kind of when we're like, geopolitical stuff is going on. So gold has gone up, Bitcoin's gone up. As we all know, that Trump and Vance are seemingly, and they could change. Don't forget that. People say all they want, and then as soon as the elections are counted, they go back to exactly, they do what they really need to do, or what they think they really need to do. Even so, I mean, Woodrow Wilson was saying we're not going to get into World War I. He gets elected, and then a couple months later, we're chucking people over to Europe. So for more excitement, it says here, this is the largest 5-day outperformance of small caps of the S&P 500 since October 1987. And what happened in October 1987? Well, October 1987 was when the big crash happened. Honestly, a larger percentage drop than what happened in the Great Depression. So it says here, as a reminder, before the 2000 bubble burst, the three dullest S&P 500 sectors, healthcare, utilities, performed badly in the months. But as tech rolled over, these things turned around and rallied 25 to 35% in the final 9 months of the year. Overall market struggled. Goldman's trading desk noted that the volumes elevated, blah, blah, blah. Things are going great, and then all of a sudden it turned. Okay? I'm not going to get into this trader, wonkiness, but it was there's similar moves going on right now around things that have crashed. Now, of course, they're telling you that everything is going great. Inflation is not going to be 2%, but they're like, don't worry about it. You're good. Stocks are going crazy. As you can tell by the previous thing, everything's going up, 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 up. Bitcoin's happening. Gold's happening. Russell 2000, 10% up. Everybody's just happy. Everybody's making money. My parents play the stock market too, the casino, and they're all happy because everybody's making money. But the problem is that the rug is going to come getting pulled out. And also, most people, that's the thing, when you come here and we watch something like Russell 2000's up 10%, most people don't have anything in there. Most people don't have a retirement. Most people can't pay a $1,000 bill on their vehicle. Most people are really struggling right now. Okay, and they keep telling us that it's all going to get under control. The inflation's going to get under control, and your bread's going to go back down, and your eggs are going to get less money, and all this, and hamburger's going to go down from $6 a pound back to $3-4 a pound like it was in 2021, 22. I mean, if you believe that, great, but it's not going to happen. As we've said here many times on here in PrepperNow, is that, there's a lot of debt, there's a lot of problems in our economic system, and the only way for people to get out of it is to inflate. That's why people purchase inflation hedges. What are those? Well, that's precious metals. Everybody knows, everybody who understands what's going on, everybody's got a finger on the pulse of what's going on, knows that we are not in good financial times. The interest rates are way up. The inflation is way up. And nothing is bringing it down. And people are struggling. People are just having a hard time right now. I think we all know this. We all know this. I'm sure you all know someone in your family or one of your friends. It's not doing so hot right now. I see it, So... Says Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is not going to get his economic soft landing. What does that mean? They keep playing with the interest rates and the inflation, and everything will just kind of like let the air out of the big bubble and everything will be fine. The big bubble is not going to have the air let out. The big bubble is going to burst at some point, probably second week of November, right? So they sit here and Market Watch is a cheerleader. It's like CNBC, sitting there talking about how awesome everything is and how you should get into the stock market. And most people don't have the money for it. Most people don't invest in the stock market. They really don't. You'll have a pension, you'll have a 401k, you'll take money out, if you're even in that kind of a position. But most people aren't even that. I was thinking, I work out, and I'm thinking about all this. I'm thinking about what I'm going to talk about. Goals for people should be like putting $50 a week away, every week, or buying an ounce of silver and putting it in a safe place every week. You do that, then you've got 52 ounces of silver by the end of the year. You do that over, 25, 35 years, you're going to have something, and it will hedge with the inflation. Same thing with everything else. I mean, maybe you're good at the market. Maybe you want to go in there and you want to buy a bunch of Amazon, or you want to buy Tesla, or you want to buy Apple, or you want to buy Nvidia, or any of that. That's fine. That's not what I do. Because I think personally, if you're going to invest, you might want to wait for the whole thing to crap the bed. But most people don't have that ability. They don't have that understanding. They don't have that knowledge. And they're just trying to get by. And that's why they can't make their car payments. Okay, and this is kind of where I'm going, because this all is what's really going to be the story when it's all said and done. What is the story of the 2008 global financial crisis, friends? That story is mortgage-backed securities. And what is that? Those are packaged financial instruments that take different levels of how good they are and how able they are to pay their mortgage, and they package them up for these big financial houses, and they sell them and they sling them. But the problem was in 2008 is that the people that were buying the Ninja MBSs, these are the no income, no job a-holes that couldn't pay for their mortgage and went in and said they have like a shop on Etsy and part-time librarian that have a $400,000 house. They lost their homes. Well, now you're starting to see this play out again, but it's happening in a little bit different way, but it's happening in a lot more sectors. Cars are a big one. If you don't watch Car Questions Answered, I think this guy's name, he runs an automotive thing. He's an auto auction guy. He's a dealer. I actually spent 1 year selling cars. So I know the inside thing. I actually did credit. I was a credit guy. But I understand the way all that goes on. This guy is saying it, and I've been watching his videos, and now this comes out. This auto insider warns more Americans are falling behind on car payments, and repossessions are soaring by 23%. That's because people are broke. They can't pay. First and foremost, a bunch of dummies went out and got that stimmy and said, oh, sweet, I got $3,600. I'm going to go buy a $42,000 truck. And they put down the 70%, which is just enough to get them into the vehicle, thinking they're going to be able to handle an $852 payment every month. And then they get the notice that they're losing their job, and they're like, I can't pay for this. Well, that's what's going on right now. All these people are falling behind. Car payments, repos, cars are not being paid back, and repos are going up. We have 2 cars. One we're paying off. The other I own, okay? And the one is the family truckster. I got 3 kids. I got sports ball. My wife and I, we just need a bigger car to handle everybody. So we got it. But we didn't buy brand new. We bought 5 years old and, reliable and good and third row and yada, yada, yada. So, but we're snowballing. We're Dave Ramsey debt snowballing. I'm almost done with my shed. And then when I take from there, that extra money, I'm going to pump it in to my, to the SUV, But most people don't make these kind of things. They go out there and they say, oh yeah, I want to look cool to the ladies. I want to get a $52,000 white Ford, F-150 or Dodge Ram or Chevy Silverado or GMC, Denali Sierra. Not that I would want that one. And they go and they go out to compensate for a lack of girth between the legs, I guess would be a good way of putting it. But some of the reports that have come up, and this is all trending in this direction. Are we headed for an auto loan crisis? July 2022. Perfect storm arrives. Massive wave of car repos. Loan defaults trigger market disaster. December 2022. January 2023. More Americans can't afford their car payments than in the peak of the financial crisis. November 2023. Americans panic search give car back on subprime auto loans. February 2024. Garbage deals. Dealerships put customers in cars with $3,000 monthly payments. If one of my salesmen were to come over to me and say, hey, this guy is a middle manager at insert, Megacorp USA right here, and I'm looking at his credit, I'm looking at his score, I'm looking at his monthly income, I'm looking at his debt ratio and all that, and I see that, and they're like, yeah, we want to put him in a $3,000 a month vehicle. And the guy's got like an income of $7,000, a mortgage of $2,700. You know what I mean? I mean, I would look at him and say, you got to get this guy into something 1/4 what that is at best. That is ridiculous. But that's where we're at. Because Americans, my wife watches really crappy television, and I chastise her for it, but she's, it's all out of love. And I'm sitting there watching these people, and she's watching the one right now, Bling Empire. She's almost done. It's all these people that like work for Fenty and all these big high-end fashion houses and got daddy's money and are just, they don't live in reality. And she's sitting there watching that, and she's pretty smart with finances now, thanks to who. But I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, yeah, this is how most people, this is how they want to live, and this is how they want people to think that they live. And it's just not realistic. So this is what you get from that. When you're taking in that kind of input, your output is going to be, I need to have a flashy car that I can handle, and you can't. So deterioration is accelerating. Cox data shows repos have jumped 23% in the first 6 months compared to the same period in 2023. So in January 2023, they're putting out the article, and now a year later, it's even worse. When you think about the cost of the rent, shelter, insurance, and all that, all those things hit consumers, and they have to choose what they will pay. By the way, there's some great tow truck drivers that go out, and they've got channels on YouTube. I don't know their names. I'll see them in the shorts every once in a while, but they're good channels to follow. They're kind of fun to watch. I saw this one where the guy was at a car wash, and he's getting his car, and he went over to get change out of the machine, like the quarter machine, and this guy rolled up. I mean, he lowered that thing, ended it up, lifted the front end of that car. There was like a Mustang or something like that, hot rod. And he was out that car wash bay within about 30 seconds, and the guy had no clue until he heard him zooming around. It was great. But you know what? That guy probably shouldn't own that vehicle. Average monthly payment is $739 for new vehicles and $549 for used. I mean, if I were on my own, if I didn't have my wife's income, I wouldn't, no way. No way. I mean, I would be living in like $1,000 a month, 1 bedroom, and, even that, hoping to God I can get by and everything. I mean, there's no way I would be able to handle a $739 payment or a $549 used car payment. No way. But people think that's normal. They're like, oh, that's what I can handle, because they tell me that's what it is. No. So consumers have used more debt than ever. And that's the problem. The problem is, folks, things are getting more expensive. People can't pay for the lifestyle. They go out, they put more crap on credit, and as things are going and everything is spiraling out of control, they get into a cycle and they can't break it. And the inflation goes up and all the money. I mean, we've all been to the grocery store. Everything goes up. Everything is absolutely up in price. And you still want to live that lifestyle, but it's not in the cards anymore. It's not there. You have to live within your means. Elevated inflation, high interest rates, unaffordable vehicles, all of this. So, nominal surge in debt, elevated interest rates are going to crush subprime borrowers. These are people with credit ratings in the 500s or below. And that's a good portion of America right now. They're all trying to get in there, and they're trying to get the vehicles and the lifestyle. And look, that's a problem with America, folks. This is a big problem. We want to look like we're doing well. You know, we get it kicked into our head. We're the richest country on earth. We're the richest country on earth. We're the richest country on earth. No, we're the most indebted country on the earth. We are not rich by any stretch of the imagination. Stuff isn't wealth. And people are get that mindset, and they're like, well, I deserve this. You know, I'm owed this. I'm an American. I'm entitled to this. No, we're not entitled to anything. And what's going to happen is the entire rug is going to get pushed, you know, or swept from under us. Everybody, you know, all these higher end people that are out there and they're playing the market. The market's going to do some kind of a crazy maneuver that's going to go down because it's gone up way up for way too long. It's defying all kinds of just basic economic law and mechanics. And it's going to get just, it's going to rip some people's faces off. And all these people are going to get their money, and then all of a sudden, these are the people that own the businesses. These are the people that have the 3-4 car washes in your town and employ a couple of guys at each of them to run the cash register and wipe down the cars or you know, direct people, that kind of stuff. Like, that's the kind of things that, you know, these are not rich people. They just have businesses that are functional. These are the kind of people that are playing the market. They're the ones that are going to get ripped. And then what happens? Well, they go in and they sell one of the car washes. I saw a thing today. Maybe I should bring it up. I won't bring it up. I'll just tell you about it. Kroger and Albertsons are in the middle of this big deal, right? Grocery store. And they're going to do a merger of sorts. Albertsons is getting consumed by Kroger. Kroger's the big dog. They're trying to buy as much up. And basically at some point they'll be one of the only places in town to get your food besides Walmart, right? Albertsons, I think it's West Coast. They're going to close 600 stores. What do you think that's going to do first and foremost to your food inflation? You know, less competition means that they control stuff and they can price it whatever the heck they want. The other thing that's going to happen is that you've got 600 stores that have, what, 30 people, 50 people working for them? All those people are gone. They're not going to make the money anymore. And a lot of them have car payments. And what happens to those car payments? They can't pay those car payments back. This is going to be an ongoing story coming up. And the problem with all of it, it's like anything. The more people get in and consumed by this, the more they're going to try and dig their way out by digging a bigger hole. And they're going to dig a bigger hole, and that's going to take them down with it and more. We don't live within our means in this country, and that's the problem. We have this mindset of entitlement and you know, to bring it back to prepping and everything, there's a guy I talked to in the background. You know who you are. His name's Rick, okay? And we talk, and we went out to lunch once. And he sent me, he said basically, and Rick, we need to go back out to lunch, especially here in the next month or so. He got laid off in the global financial crisis, okay? And the reason why he was able to survive was because of his preps. He had enough food and everything stayed up, stored up, that he could make it. And I mean, that's what we're looking in the eye. That's why, you know, I go through this and everything. It's because chaos is coming. The financials are coming. The American empire is not in a good place financially. We are not the American empire of the 1980s, where we can outdo the Soviet Union and get into an arms race to where they collapse in on themselves. In fact, there's a lot of people that think that that's going to now happen to us with places like Russia and China and Iran. So they're not going to tell you when this is all going to happen. All you can do is read the tea leaves. All you can say is, oh, look at that. Gold sword. Look at that. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you, oh, everything is just fantastic. You know, we're not going to get to that 2%, but the stocks are going to keep going up, and we're in a growing economy, folks. Meanwhile, the little guy is getting cars repossessed, and he can't handle the basics. And this is a continuing and growing story. So, I guess if there's one thing you take away from this video, live within your means, which I'm sure almost all of you, if not all of you, do. Because if you're coming here again, you know, you're probably one of the smarter nuts in the basket. But I mean, prepping and everything is important because we are really on the precipice of some bad financial times. We're really starting to see, I'm starting to see some very big indicators. Think of this as like this prognostication is like weather reporting. You know, you see the low temperature and the high temperature, you know, you see the jet stream and everything, and you can just tell that they're going to converge, and somewhere over Indiana, it's going to be tornado fever. You know, that's what I see what's going on right now. I'm looking out and I'm seeing all of these different signs, from anecdotal on the street, talking to the guy at the grocery store saying, man, we've had an uptick in people stealing food, to big articles coming out where car repossessions are up 23% and gold has hit a brand new high. These are not the tales of a functioning, good financial system. Now, I don't personally think anybody coming into office is going to do anything more than be a speed bump to the inevitable. I've said that. So one of the main things that keeps me going is the fact that I see no saviors, with the exception of the Savior, of course, the sovereign Jesus Christ. But besides that, I don't see any men or women doing anything to stop this. All I see is tough times for my family, and putting food away, and putting tools, and getting my little, you know, farmette homestead here as ready as possible. Today I woke up and I cleaned up my entire garden. It had some weeds, it had some other things going on. I had to fix, just had to fix some basic repair. You know, put things back together and everything else. And, you know, churned up some nice nasty in the tumbler, and you know, spread some more dirt and everything else, and just kind of went out there because I'm like, I got to do something. I don't want to spend any money. I don't want to have that consumer mindset where I'm out buying BS. I want to go out and do something that's going to be productive. And so I just went out there and just kind of straightened stuff up and made it look good. You know, again, that's all we can do at this point, folks. You know, we can just tend to our little side of the street, put things away, maybe learn some new skills or anything else. We're actually going to start to reproduce our chickens. That's our goal. My wife is an excellent bread baker now. There's a great part of Dave Southern Prepper One. Okay, his video, I like him. He reminds me of the nice people I used to know in South Carolina. And yeah, I don't watch his videos all the time, but I definitely check him out more than many. And he told the story of this guy in Texas. Okay, and I don't want to ruin it. You should go over and watch his video. But he told the story of this guy in Texas that was in the hurricane, and he forgot, he had all of his preps. He's your typical prepper, but for some reason, in the hurry and flurry, he forgot to fill up his vehicle. Okay, and he forgot to fill up his gas cans, and he just made a mistake. You know, it is what it is. We're all going to do that. I mean, my wife went out and got the little D batteries or whatever because we needed them. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, why didn't we have those at home? You know, why is she paying top price now when I should have had them 4 years ago? Anyway, this guy couldn't find gas. And he was literally on his last, like, half gallon. And he finally found this little town a couple towns over that for some reason had gas, had everything. I remember when I went through Sandy, I was driving in Connecticut, and I was on my last, like, gallon. And I went to this little hamlet gas station in Greenwich, Connecticut, and the price was like 30, 40 cents more than all the other ones up and down 95, but it didn't matter. The guy had gas, and if I didn't get gas from the guy, I would have had a problem. But Dave tells the story better of what this guy went through. And like, that's the kind of stuff that we need to be thinking about. And again, not because we're paranoid, not because we can't handle it, not because we're freaked out, but like, that was a mini SHTF for the guy. He went through a hurricane, and you know, he had a solar generator, if I remember correctly, and it wasn't producing what he thought it could, and other people he knew, like, their generators were failing, and blah, blah, blah. You know, we're not going to get tested until we get tested, so we should test things before we get tested, you know. But it's a great story, and it's a cautionary tale. You know, we get into prepping, and we do this stuff so we can weather whatever comes. But we're not going to know until it happens. So all you can do is have a prepared mindset and keep doing the things, you know, keep getting ready, keep trying to do stuff. I still got to fully run my my solar generator. I still haven't done that, and that's my fault. So maybe I should do that next. I'm calling myself out. So none of us are perfect, folks. None of us are perfect. We're all gonna, you know, miss stuff. We're all gonna do stuff. But the good news is that if you're just doing a little bit every day, if you're putting a little bit of money away, if you're putting a little bit of food away, if you're putting, you know, some tools away, if you're learning some skills, and you're doing all these things, and you're getting your preparedness mindset there, when stuff does happen, it's not going to be perfect, but you're going to more than likely be better than most. And you'll recover. You know, things will happen, you know. If you're doing the things you're supposed to do, the good Lord will cover you, you know. And that's what's important. All right, folks. So we're going to call it this one. I just appreciate you here. If you could hit the like button and all that, do the subscribe thing if you are new here. Leave a comment. You know, we do, this is the kind of how I usually do my discussions, where I bring up a few articles and I'll have a overarching theme, and then I'll bring it back to a preparedness kind of thing. I'm sure that there's people that are putting great stuff into the comments and into the chat, which is the wonderful thing about this community that is growing, is you guys are super awesome. You're super helpful. And there's nothing I would rather be doing at 10:55 on a Tuesday night than having a little convo about all the wonderful things in the world with you all. So I appreciate you. Mods, thank you so much. Arc Living, you're too kind for the gifting of the membership. Thanks to those that are members. It's $2 a month. Should you be so inclined. It's less than a coffee, and it just kind of keeps things going. And if I get important information from the crisis report when I'm doing that, I will put it out there for my my members so they get it first. Like I had basically the J.D. Vance VP pick as it was happening. So it's just a good way to stay informed. But I appreciate all of you, and hit the buttons and engage, and we will see you tomorrow night on another installment, and hopefully things calm down from here. And by the way, I wanted to say this. You guys heard about how they're talking about how Iran had a plot against Orange Man Bad? That is totally, I mean, there probably was something, I don't know what it was, but now they're trying to CYA because they're like, oh, now they think that the left is a violent entity and we have rogue people. We need to come out with some kind of a narrative to make it so we know that it's you know, our side of the political fence is loving and wonderful when we all know the truth. So that popped into my head as I was reading all that. I was like, I see what you guys are doing there. You guys are trying to CYA, trying to make it seem like it was Iran. Iran wanted him. Iran infiltrated the man on the roof of the slope. Meanwhile, the Keystone Cops can't get into the fence. Oh my gosh, go check that video out. I'm done, folks. God bless. Have a great night. We'll see you on the next one.